We have a number of cars behind us. You can't see all of them. They can see the gull wing. They can partially see the 911. But there's like a little sliver of a baby blue car.
Hmm.
And what is that baby blue car?
That would be a Ford GT in heritage colors.
And it is a 2020 model year.
Hmm.
And that car, we learned, had a retail price new of, for a Ford, $660,000.
There was an restriction on those cars to not sell them for a number of years.
Yes.
But we've seen multiple millions of dollars of sales.
Okay, so now I'm going to put you on the spot. What is that car worth?
Well, I think the cheapest we've seen is about $1 million, right around $1 million right now. And I think 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 maybe. All right, so in the day, cars had to be, kind of a nebulous 25 years old to be collectible.
Yeah.
The manufacturers are the difference. They have made the difference in this because they know how to build cars that their market covets. And if it's a little bit different or a special edition or something like that, special edition in the 70s meant, paint and stripes. For so many manufacturers, Mercedes, Porsche, BMW to some extent, all these manufacturers are now coming out with these very specialist build cars that are built for the collector market. So we have this new phenomenon, the brand new collector car. And not just a 76 Eldorado convertible, which was kind of the built to be collectible in its day.
Now, in that car, yeah, they said it was going to be the last. They said it's going to be collectible. But did they limit the amount they made, or they just made as many as they could sell?
It was limited to the number they could sell. That's how the limit was.
That was okay. So that's kind of the way BMW does things.
Yeah.
They'll say that they'll do a limited run car like the M5 CS or the M2 CS, but they won't tell you how many they limit them to.
Right.
But they're still considered limited edition. Like the M5 CS, so the guy that is a couple hangars down here, he just got an M5 CS. He had to go to Wisconsin to get it.
Sure.
He did get it at sticker, but anywhere on the coast, those are 50 grand over sticker.
Mm-hmm.
M2 CSs, they were going 25 to 30 over sticker. That was before the virus. And that's on a car that's not a real limited production car.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that changing over time?
There's a couple things going on because obviously there's supply and demand issue because of the virus, because of the chips that are going into the car and transportation and all that sort of stuff. But what we should be concentrating on the cars like the SLS, these cars that were built to go immediately into the collector market. Like I said, I think that the manufacturers have absolutely learned how to do it. Porsche, no one better than Porsche as far as that goes.
I would agree.
They give you a car that is, maybe not a huge difference, but a difference enough that Porsche collectors will covet it. McLaren has done the same thing, although they might have built a few too many of just about everything.
I think McLaren's a very bad example.
Well,
they have terrible resale. They're technological tour de force, but they're not. They're not. There's something about them that I don't want to covet them, and as a result, there are too many of them out there.
They're trying too hard. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they tried too hard. Aston Martin tries too hard
tries
as well.
way too hard.
Yeah, tries way too hard. But, our opinion only. I think that Mercedes and Porsche are ruling the world with this right now.
Do you think there was a learning curve with Mercedes? Because back in the day when the SLS came out, no one really wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
And it went down in value.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've gone up in value a bit. Same with the SLR. It was a real bad example. That was a 440 new. It went down, I think, into the 200s. And now only are we starting to see them go up in value from the 440.
There should be a depreciation curve on most things. And for a lot of cars that happen. Really, the first two cars I can think of that were solid rock examples were the 2005 and 2006 edition of the Ford GT, and the Z8 BMW at the same time. I mean, relatively in the same marketplace. Those were two cars that never really entered a depreciation curve. The Z8 a little bit more than the Ford. Ford did a really, really smart thing by building these cars because it's a total halo car.
I'm going to throw something at you from your history.
Yeah.
I love the Z8.
So do I.
I've always loved the Z8. And I remember reading the editorial from Keith Martin in one of his Sports Car Market, and he said the Z8 will never be a collector car.
No one should ever say it will never be a collector car.
He said it.
I know that. It should never, ever be said. Who would have thought that a Levi's Gremlin would be a collector car? I
Is
did.
it?
I did. Absolutely it is.
It is?
Oh my God, have you seen one recently?
No, and I don't want to see one.
There's like 3 of them out there now that have been these, $100,000 restoration on a $12 car. And they're fantastic. And they,
You're lying to me. No one spent $100,000 to restore
it
a
was
Gremlin.
a metaphorical $100,000.
Oh,
But yeah, okay. They're horrible cars, okay? I mean, but fun. And I
No.
mean,
well, this is going into your Studebaker side. I love this man dearly. I owe him so much in life, but there's some things I just disagree with him on.
I am not saying that I covet a Levi's Gremlin, okay? I just hear me out here, okay? There's no such thing as a car that'll never be collectible. That's my point.
Yeah.
Because at some point they become interesting, and then they go from interesting into collectible. So, okay, I will give you that a Gremlin right now is interesting more than collectible, but they're heading there. But Pacers, I mean, we'll go right back to the AMCs.
You think those will be collectible?
They had their moment. They really had their moment, and that was because that car got revived by Wayne's World. Another generation decided that that was a cool car to have.
I think you're pulling my leg at this
No,
point.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
You know what? I want to throw this one to the audience and see if they think you're serious.
What's
'Cause,
wrong with fishbowl cars? Come on.
Okay, so there is nothing that Dick Teague did, and he was the chief designer of AMC, that made
I'm
all
aware
those
of that.
horrible cars. The Matador.
The old Lake
Gremlin.
Cassini Matador? You're saying there's something wrong with that?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
There was
Blasphemy, he speaks.
even
Blasphemy.
the supercar he made. What was the supercar? The
AMX3?
Was that it?
Oh, that was Dick Teague. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it was.
it was based on like a Pantera or something like that.
Yeah,
Even
basically.
that was hideous. There was nothing good that came out of that man's design studio.
Gosh, you're so wrong, MotoMan.
I'm so correct
I'm so
on this.
disappointed in you.
Okay,
I
so-
mean, you weigh in on
Okay,
this.
wait on this. Am
Who's
I
the-
wrong or not? Because
He's wrong.
he is crazy.
Well, that's a given. Of course I'm crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
So let's look at a couple of examples here. So we talked about the GT.
wow, did we get derailed?
Yeah,
huh?
we got derailed. We got to get back on this. So the GT is a very good example of a car that has obviously immediately, if you were lucky enough to buy one, you made money on the car. I would argue like GT3s, if you're lucky enough to get one, you are going to make money on it. Pretty much any Ferrari, with the exception of like a California.
Californians are having their day too.
I think that's a virus thing. I do. Like if you get yourself like one of these SF90s, or you get a Tour de France Ferrari, you're gonna make money on it. But what are some other examples that you buy it immediately, you're gonna make money on it?
See, the immediately is the problem because there's very, very few cars that just go
Okay,
right into it.
maybe not lose money. How about that?
I think there's a number of Black Series cars that are that way, and I'm using the Black
You mean like
Series
AMG
generic.
black?
Yeah,
or-
I'm using it generically. I wouldn't be surprised if the big dog of the Cadillac, Blackwing,
the CT5V black.
exactly.
The new one just came out.
especially with the manual
Manual,
transmission.
yeah.
I don't think that car's going to depreciate at all.
Really?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
That's a bold statement.
It's a limited production car too, though. I mean, they're not going to build that many of them.
Well, they only made 400 of the CT6V and CT6 Platinum Blackwing,
Mm-hmm.
which had that magnificent engine that was made at the Corvette factory.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why would you put all that money into making that stunning engine and only make 400 cars? And the car itself was magnificent too.
Mm-hmm.
I see that one going up in value. I think that is still depreciating, but I see that one being a good investment.
Anything's going to enter a depreciation cycle until the market decides which way it's going to go. But with only 400 built, Cadillac has a very long and very storied history. Not always a great history, but
Yeah.
a very long and very storied history. And I think that this could be their last great ice car as far as that goes.
Well, they've already committed to being an EV brand.
Well, I know.
So that's
I know.
okay. You know what? I'm with you on this one. I don't think you're so crazy.
I
though.
changed your mind.
You did. You changed my mind. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. You don't know how hard that
That's
is.
very
I
hard
know
to
him
do.
better than you.
Yeah, that's very.
Yeah,
hard
I know
to
him IRL. So
I'm starting to see like again the guy down the road's got a 2018 991.2 GT3 wing car.
mhm.
What do you pay for? $165. It's worth $205
Oh, yeah,
now,
yeah.
and that's only a 2018.
Right.
Is that a virus thing, or is that's a Black Series car?
Yeah, it's a Black Series car. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What are some other examples?
Well, I mean, there are not a lot of them out there. Okay, I mean, it's not going to be this incredibly long list. I mean, you mentioned the SLS.
Hmm.
I mean, they took a curve, and they have gone up since the pandemic, as far as that goes.
They
But
weren't as beautifully sorted as an AMG GT is.
I
Different
agree.
kind of a car.
I
I
agree.
think that's why they got hit.
Yeah, yeah. I'd put some money in a AMG GT. I like the old face more
Yeah.
than the new face. So 2017 might be
Yeah.
the sweet spot, something like that.
I think
And
the
they've gone down, but they're going to have a lot of collector car ability. And I'd buy one in a whack color,
oh, you got to get a wacky color. I agree.
whack color.
I would argue in the AMG GT world, it's the AMG GTR.
Yeah, yeah.
That one or the black, which I think those are immediately going up because
Mhm.
they made a very few of them.
Yeah.
Very few of them.
Okay, and now's my time to say you should never buy a car as an investment. You should buy a car because you love it, and the investment part is the icing on the cake as far as
I'm
that
glad
goes.
you said that because that is a
Because
huge
I mean,
point.
come on, these are cars. They're supposed to be driven. You're supposed to enjoy them
I
because
agree.
of not just the transportation, but the way it makes you feel. All the tactile stuff that comes along with it. And if you're just buying it for investments, buy stock instead. I mean, it's easier, it's cleaner,
It's easier, cleaner,
and
yeah.
you don't have to garage it. So I
You don't
mean,
pay insurance on it either.
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Like for example, he brought up an incredibly salient point, and a very good example of that is that car right back there. Most people would buy that thing as an investment because, as you said, it's literally a brick of gold. It's worth
the
a
same,
lot of money
the same everywhere.
anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
But the owner of this car doesn't look at it as a brick of gold. Like we go to the Chinese restaurant around the corner in that car. He has put 90,000 miles on that car in 20 years. It's been to Mille 5 times. It's been on the Colorado Grand like 10 times. So this is a car that is actually used. It's not looked at as investment. But in the same amount of time he's owned it, he bought it for 200 grand and it's worth what? 1.5?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's had some fun with this one.
Yeah, no kidding. And I mean, it was a great choice. And when he bought it
Yeah.
right. I don't think you can ever go wrong
Yeah.
with a well sorted or even a quasi well sorted 300 SL.
So let's go in a different direction. Let's get away from the $200,000 supercars. Is there something that's not ridiculously expensive that falls into this AMG black category?
Yeah, I think there's some probably end of series Japanese cars.
And
that
how
can make it.
far does this AMG black category go? Like, would it apply to something like the last generation of Pontiac Firebird, or is that considered a real collector car?
Well, you picked the schnoz on the last generation Firebird is really tough to love. I like it.
I like it
It
too.
has challenging looks.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, really does. Maybe final build of the GTO would be a better example. The Holden-based.
Yeah, but very unattractive.
I don't agree.
Very, like,
I don't think they're pretty, but I don't
to
think
me,
they're
the
unattractive.
G8 GXP was a better choice.
Yeah, and I mean, how many of those did they build?
Not many.
I
like
know.
$4,000 they came to this country.
Yeah,
Not many.
Solstice.
GXP hardtop.
Yes.
Man, oh man, that was
Yeah.
a beauty. Bob
Yeah.
Let's got one of those.
Yeah.
Is that considered a legitimate collector car, or is that in this AMG Black series?
No, that's a legitimate collector car.
So it's
even
not
though
okay.
even though it's a relatively, post 2000
So to
collector car.
qualify for this factory fresh collector car, it's got to be really a new car.
Yeah, pretty much.
So like the past 5 years. That's how we're
No,
defining it?
I would say the past 7-8 years, but yeah, I mean we're
Okay.
we're grasping at straws at that point.
Okay, so before we close out, what else should we be looking for in this, what we're calling the factory fresh classic car?
I think it's time for us to kind of open it up to other people because I think there's a whole bunch of choices of stuff
I would
that's
agree.
just ending. Like I bought the 2021 WRX STI because it's the last of that series. They
Yeah.
haven't introduced the new one yet, and I guess it's February or something like that.
It's coming out in February, but the drive was last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you driven it?
I don't drive Subarus.
Pardon me.
Yeah. I'm not a female professional tennis player. That's my nice way of putting it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
neither am I, but I own one.
You do. I have a sister-in-law that has one, and I've been trying desperately to get her out of one. Anyway, this is when we're turning around to the audience.
7-year warranty, $2,500.
I'll get a Hyundai and get a 10-year warranty. How about that?
It's
Have
a
you-
Hyundai.
Okay, how about this? Elantra N. It's almost 300 horsepower.
Yeah.
Stick. It's got a front LSD.
Yeah.
I mean, it's badass, this
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, that's
Would
a good
that
choice.
qualify?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of cars that we're not thinking about or not reacting to that are not exactly under the radar, but a bunch of Nissan products, possibly some other Toyota products. It could very well be as well. Lexus. Yeah, there's a Lexus there.
LC500 convertible.
Exactly.
Is that a
Exactly.
factory fresh classic?
It could be. We're going to find out.
We are going to find out. On that note, that's where we turn this around to you guys. What have we missed here?
Yeah, and there are some things.
I think there's a lot we missed here
yeah.
because this is. I think we could literally drive a truck through how many we missed.
But it
there's
is
so many
like
out
1
there.
o'clock in the morning in a freezing hangar. So yeah, I mean
But
we're allowed
just
to miss
like
things.
5 more episodes to shoot, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
When dawn comes up, I have to be back in the hotel room because I'm a vampire. So yeah.
Okay, so this is where we turn this around to you guys because he's complaining because he's old and tired. What are we missing?
Oh, listen to you.
But no, we got work to do, man. We got things to do here. So what are we missing here, or what do you agree with? Oh, and one more question I want to put out
What's
there.
that?
Are they excited about your choice of your Subaru with the wing and the color and all that kind
They
of
got to
stuff?
see the picture.
They got to. I'm gonna make sure they had the
a
link.
lot of
in-
Benjamin Button
yeah,
going on.
definitely.
There. Yeah.
Yeah. So comments below or via our social media, MotoMan TV all one word, MotoMan TV all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find this man on Twitter, DH Kinney, or on Facebook at Dave Kinney, and you will get many dad jokes, unfortunately. So until we see you together in the next episode, or until you see just me, bis später.